Last year, Cabby Fingers and I started our work together on the Sign with Fingers Big and Small campaign in partnership with National Deaf Children's Society. Cabby Don't Work Fingers are made when everyone comes together. But for many people, these moments can be quite isolating as we find ourselves trying to piece bits of the conversation together. We set out to get people learning British Sign Language with everyday phrases so more of us can feel included in the conversation. And just like that, the campaign created awareness of my superpower. I am so excited to announce that this year I get to continue the partnership with Cabby Fingers as they have come on board to help me launch the first ever series of Superpowers with Tasha. Together, we want more people to share their own superpowers so more of us can feel included. As well as providing the best studio snack for me and my guests, getting to work with Cabby Fingers again means we will be reminding you regularly to keep learning a little BSL via the Sign with Fingers hub. You can even learn, would you like a snack? And my answer every time, yes. Head to signwithfingers.cabby.co.uk to start your BSL journey. So I'm very, very excited for this. I've been waiting for this day, and I have the best guest with me today. My best friend, the most amazing queen, Ty, who is such an amazing, extraordinary, amazing person. And I see you as a superhero because you're such an amazing person to your community, and that's why I had to have you on here because I just adore you.
Honestly, you're going to make me cry already. I'm just staring into your eyes. Honestly, I feel like you're literally everything that I see myself. Like, I feel like we relate on so many things, and like you actually finally doing this. Like, we manifested this for so long. Like, I feel like we both have worked so hard, especially with all the struggles. But I don't see them as struggles. I just see them as like little, bumps up, because like nothing that is thrown our way is really a struggle. Like, I don't see my identity as a struggle. You don't see your identity as a struggle. Like, and I feel like that's what I really strive in, like, what I want to be. Because even when I was younger, I've always wanted to be like, yeah, I want to be like an icon. I just want to be known for me. And like thinking about it, I feel like I'm accomplishing that, not in like a conceited way, but like I want to inspire like little Tyreeces, little Tyrenas to like wear a dress. I mean, my name's Tyreeceinheels. Like, I want people to dress how they want to dress, like be who they want to be. Yeah. Because I'm like, even now, it's like, obviously, I always used to say I came out twice. Like, one because I thought, I was a gay.
I was going to ask you about that, because I think you, growing up, you kind of you came out non-binary a bit later on. But first you were, gay. So I think it's quite, when I actually first met you, you were,
like a gay boy.
And like, it was interesting because, you found yourself much more as you were growing up. And how was it for you growing up in terms of like, school? And I think you've come such a long way. Like, I met you when you were 19. 1918. Whoa. And I remember you were like so shy at first, and then you just blossomed into this amazing person that you are. And so I think, what was it like for you, finding yourself on the journey and finding who you are as a person?
I can always thank my mum, because my mum was the one that supported me no matter what. She saw like for example, I have an older brother. He always used to like rush to like football stuff. I used to be like, I want to play with brats, and she never shunned me. She never made me feel embarrassed. Like, she caught me dressing up in her heels, and she was like, yes, 12 for me. I always remember that when I was like 3 years old. Like, I feel like my mother's instinct just knows, and like I'm so grateful that I wouldn't be here without her. And like, on the flip side of that, obviously a lot of people think that, it's all rainbows and sunshine because that's how I portray myself. But like, the flip side of that, my father, if I want to call him that, was quite abusive, and like he didn't accept me for who I was. Like, my thing is, don't have a child if you're not going to accept them fully of who they are, And like, I mean, he wanted to send me away to gay conversion camp, like to fix me, like, and like she got divorced, she got me out of there, and like, I feel like we are just so much more of a happier family. And like, not a lot of people know that, because I have come from quite a lot of struggles, and that's why the persona I want to put across is so positive and so light, because you can have a positive queer experience. Like, especially in like the media, we always see like the negative, or like when someone comes out, they always get shunned. Like, you always see like the bad side of the queer community, or like there's like death or like abuse. But that is a reality. But you can come out on the other side much brighter and much happier. And that's why on this journey, because I always see my identity as a journey, like even now, I don't see, I'm not stopped. Because obviously when you first met me, I was like a gay boy, and now I'm non-binary queer. And that's not the final destination, because I'm still finding more and more amazing stuff about me. Like, I'm only 20, 22, 23, I don't know.
Yeah.
My birthday's around the corner.
You're 22.
Okay, I'm 22.
Even I knew that.
But like, I'm just so excited for the journey, because like the destination isn't what you want. You want the journey, because the journey is so much more fun.
Yeah, I think the journey is who makes you as a person. And I think, your journey is so special because, you really have overcome so many obstacles. And I think that's what makes you a superhero, and having your superpower. And that's why having you on here is so important, because I feel like this subject's not really spoken about enough, And non-binary is, not a lot of people still understand non-binary. And how important is it for people to understand non-binary? Like, maybe if you could explain what the terms for non-binary. And, I feel like many people still need to be educated on how important it is, to say they, them, and how offensive it can be if you say the wrong gender term. So I think, so like what for you is, how important is it to you?
Obviously, it's very important, and everyone who knows me probably... I mean, I always talk about it, but that's because obviously on my channel, everyone sees it, but like in the greatest aspect of society, it's not still valued as like, I still can't get like a non-binary like passport. I on my passport still says male or like man, like he, him. So like for me, obviously non-binary is different to each person. I want to get that straight. But like for me, it's more of the fact that I don't fit under a specific female
gender,
or male. Yeah. So it's like, it's non-gender conforming. I mean, it's in the name, and like, obviously that's why I champion it so much. And like most of my friends who follow me probably sick to death, but I will literally chat about it until like we're as accepted as like the he, him, or the she, her. If someone who like identifies like as cis, which is CIS, which is people who identify with the gender they're born with. And it's like, I always push for it. And I feel like it's getting better, but it's not where it needs to be. And like, that's why it's so important that we do stuff like this, especially with like, we always chat about like when we blow up, like not blow up, but like, but obviously like the more fans we have, the more reach we get.
The platform
we have. I want to talk about it more, especially with like TikTok. Like, I remember last year when I literally had like nothing. I never really have a following, but like, and the reason why I blew up was because I was being authentically myself. And I feel like even to the greater aspect of not just non-binary, but trans people and queer people, it's like allowing people to be authentically themselves. That's like my greater aim. Because obviously it started off like, oh my gosh, I can, wear a dress and obviously I look stunning. But it's like, actually, when I go deeper into it, there's a lot of stuff and policies and like people's minds that need to change. And sometimes like, it's not necessarily done out of malice, it's done out of a not understanding. Because my thing, I want to educate. I never want to be like, for example, if we're in a restaurant or like even like someone's friend accidentally calls me he or a guy, I like correct. I'm not one to be like, don't call me this. Da, da, da.
Yeah, you just correct.
I like correct and be like, and usually it's like, oh, okay, sorry, move on. I'm never the one to jump to the jugular or jump to attack mode. I'm always like, educate first, attack later.
I love it. It's crazy because I remember like the conversations me and you used to have together, back in the old days when we used to live together, and we'd always be sat there like, we just want to do something so good with our lives, and we want to use platforms. And the fact that we've both got these amazing platforms now, we can use our voices, and it's desire. Let's just talk about this queen.
Let's talk about this queen that fell in the pool.
Oh yeah, it's desire. So, oh my days. So Ty also does drag, and their drag is called It's Desire. Go check her out on Instagram because she is hot. So
Get her on Love Island.
bring her here now. Do a little
quick change.
So when did you start, finding It's Desire and getting into drag? Like, what got you into that?
Oh my God, the gag is, I feel like the first time I stepped out in full drag was probably like a year ago. I'm like a Halloween queen, boo. So it's like Desire's first birthday, like literally the other day. But like the reason why I wanted to get into it, because I wanted to really have like a hyper feminine extension of myself. Like it's like you've been in the presence of Desire. It's not like I put on a persona. I'm basically myself, but just like dialed. I mean, I don't know how you can dial the notches on this anymore, but like just turned up, and like it's just the hyper femme version of me. And like really, I'm so grateful that I really got into it, and I do it with my two drag mothers and one of my best friends in Manchester. Seven Sins, check her out. Like, I'm so grateful that we're all like the same, like we're all kind of like the same person, and like I think that's really important to have like in a community to really like support you and have your backbone, especially when it comes to exploration of like things, especially when it comes to self-identity. It's really good to like be in a safe space, because obviously if I had like, oh my God, this sounds really deep. If I had like a group of like-minded people when I was like very young, I probably would have found myself faster, because obviously I had to kind of do it myself, because I felt, chucked aside, or I felt ostracized, or I felt like people would laugh at me. I never really dived into it that much. But really, Desire is just really like, as well, I wanted to be the personification of like lust and like sexuality.
Okay.
Because I feel like, not that was taken away from me, because that's really deep, but I felt like as a queer person, it's very like, like we're seen as like dirt, gross. And I literally just wanted to be like everyone's fantasy. I mean, the gay boys love me, the straight boys love me, the girls love me, everyone loves me.
Oh yeah, I love you. So I think, do you kind of see it as like your kind of like superhero kind of cape? Is that like, when you turn into His Desire, is it kind of like you feel so empowered?
Yeah.
Is that the feeling it gives you?
It's almost like Desire is Tyrese, but like with a glorious like body armor on, because I'm like, it's still got my personality, but like, even this is gonna sound really like sad, but don't cry for me. But obviously, when you look at Tyrese, like visually, or someone looks at Tyrese visually, and Desire seems so much more intimidating, because obviously I'm very like, I'm not a horrible person, and I'm not like vicious. I'm very like, I want to be the sun. I want to be someone that lights up the room. I want to be the Joker. Where if you look at Desire, you're like, whoa, wouldn't want to mess with her. That's the almost the reaction I want to have. Like, whoa, she's fierce as Desire, and Tyre's like, approachable. I almost want Desire to be non-approachable, because it's like the way of being like F you to all the haters. Because obviously we all have haters.
Oh, tell me about it.
We all have haters. They're not gonna go away.
No, they're never gonna go away. And I think the way you deal with it, especially, I just love it. Like what Ty does on TikTok, they'll take a comment and just the way you react to it, but being yourself still. And I'm just like, that is how it should, like, we should never get hate for who you are. But the way you got to look at it is, you got to feel sorry for them. And they're the ones behind the keyboards, and as people will never stoop that low. And if anything, we've got to turn it into a positive and focus on the positives, focus on the good, and be ourselves. And all we're doing is being true to ourselves. And it's sometimes it's hard to people try and drag you down for that. But I just think, I mean, does it affect you, like, honestly, or is it kind of like some days it does, some days it doesn't, or is it more you're kind of like quite hard shell that you can easily brush it off?
I guess when I first started to, gain traction on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, it did really affect me, because obviously you kind of try and build like a safe space, a safe community. So everyone that follows you, like, they obviously just you want them to just, post love. But especially with TikTok, where sometimes it can go on the bad side of TikTok, where it used to with me, it really affected me, because it'd be like, not even joking, like it would blow up, like without any, like hardly any likes, but so many comments of just hate, and that would really get to me. But now I've realized that that's not on me, that's on them. Like whatever they're saying to me, it's just a reflection of their character and who they feel on the inside. So it's like, especially on TikTok, that's why I like taking these hateful comments and being like, almost like pretending to be sad and then transitioning into a glorious fit. Because I'm like, well, you're still hateful over there. I'm still fabulous. So you're not affecting my day. And that's really with my content, especially. I want to show people to be like, you know what? Even if you've got like 100 followers or like 100,000 followers, like hate can affect us, like in the still same way, or it can't affect us. And it's just like what we choose to do with that. So like someone throws you a hate comment, do I hold this in or do I chuck it out?
Yeah.
And I tend to hold it and then chuck it out.
Yeah.
Hold it, get some good views.
Yeah, just get it
Get some
onto a ball.
and then chuck it.
Yeah, just
I'm like,
throw it.
I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. If someone says, oh, you're ugly. I know I'm not ugly. Goodbye. Or you're not slay. I know I'm slaying. Goodbye. And I feel like and it's easy, to be fair, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Like obviously people always just like, you don't listen to it. People deal with it in different ways. And it's just, I hope everyone gets to that point where it's like, actually no.
Yeah.
I know I'm comfortable in myself.
Self-love.
I've got people around me that love me. So really,
Why does it matter?
why does it matter of this random follower with like 2 likes on a video?
Well,
no, it doesn't.
Like, even like just fake profiles.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, and I think that's so true. I think people, if you ever deal with trolls or hating, I think, always stay true to yourself because, if you let it get to you, if you go looking for it, that's when you lose yourself. And that's when you become a burden, right? So I think exactly like you said, you go look at it as actually self-love is so important, especially I think for me and you, the way what we deal with and growing up and obstacles in life, I think we have a lot of self-love for ourselves and we're surrounded by such amazing people. And I think, it goes to show that you can really be who you really can be. And what's the saying? Unapologetically yourself.
Yeah,
right?
being unapologetically yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's another thing of like who we surround ourselves with, because I feel like, especially with our circles, it's really finding that safe space and like those people that love you for you, like love you for your flaws, won't nitpick at you, because I feel like that's another thing where you could fall into not having the right people around you, or like really, because I feel like maybe when I was like younger, very younger, when I was 6 and 17, I fell into a trap of thinking people were my friends and they weren't. Really, they were like, I was just like, I don't know, the punching bag.
Yeah.
So it's really important. I'm all about like having a community, because like even with, I wanted to say this. What did I want to say? I wanted to say like even with like coming out and stuff. I obviously it's like, when it's like coming out there, woohoo! But I'm always like, do it when you're ready and when you feel like you're safe, because like you always hear these like dreaded stories of like being like shipped to conversion camps or like being beaten up or chucked on the street. And I feel like it's more important to have that safe community to do that.
No, for sure. And I think, when you first came out, how old were you?
I think I was 12, 13, but my mum knew I was like, my mum knew I was fab from like 2-3 years old.
Wow. And how did you feel? Like, were you nervous to kind of, tell your mum? Like, I think, this is kind of good advice. Like, what advice would you give to those that, that are scared to come out to their parents? Like, what's the best advice you could give to them?
If I was looking back, what advice would I give? I feel like it's more of the fact to believe in yourself and have faith in yourself and have love for yourself. And I feel like, obviously, even though it was very young, I had this idea, or I knew that I was different for a very long time, and I was kind of trying to fight this feeling. And obviously, with what society was telling me around me, I was like, you're wrong, dirty, gross. But then obviously, my mum, and especially with myself, like taught me self-love. And it's like loving myself to accept me for who I actually am or who I'm meant to be, rather than trying to fight against it. And I was probably unhappy for not a long time, but maybe a small fraction when it clicked who I was supposed to be. I was like trying to fight it. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. And it was more of the fact that I wasn't nervous to tell my mum. I was more nervous to accept it to myself. So I feel like when that clicked, I was like, oh, it was almost like a relief. It's always a relief. Even with all my queer, trans, non-binary friends, they always say it's such like a weight off the shoulders. Obviously, each experience is different to their own. So obviously, this is just, advice. Everyone's situation is different. But like, I feel like there's so many young kids or like young queer people growing up, and they're trying to fight who they're supposed to be because they think that it's the right thing to do, when actually it's actually harming yourself more.
Yeah, that's true, because you start going into a hole, I guess. If you trying to fight it, and you're not accepting you for you, that's when you start hating yourself, and that's when your self-love really deteriorates, because you're not accepting you for who you really are. And I think, it's I get really, like, I'm getting emotional. Like,
I'm just like looking into the microphone, like, wow, like, if you like, it's really not. It's just so like a lot. Like, I feel like I not brush over, but sometimes I brush over my experiences because I'm like, no, I always look at, obviously, I'm happy now, I'm winning now, I'm full of love now, but actually unpacking and looking back the chapters, it's actually all those dark times, all those dark chapters have really, formed who I am now. And like, it's really gonna help me with my future, because I'm like, I wouldn't change anything in my past, because obviously I wouldn't be here now. And like, a lot of that has shaped me into the person I am, because I'd rather have been very grown and experienced all that to know who I am, because I feel like a lot of people think I'm much older than I am, not because of my skin, but because obviously my mental, the way my mind works is very like, this is what I want to do. I want to have a successful career, blah, blah. But that's because I've been told so many times, you have to do this. You can't be this.
Yeah.
You have to follow the grain. But I've always like, I want to work against the grain. I want to write my own story. I don't want to write the story that society seems fit for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have a wife and 3 kids and like a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I want a dog, but
yeah, I'm definitely getting a dog. But I think that's so inspirational. It's so true that, life is your own life, and how you want to live it is up to you, and who you want to be is up to you. No one else should tell you any different. And I think that's so powerful, because that's what it's really, really, life should be about. And you're so right. I feel like the stigma around, like, you have to get married, have to have kids, all of these kind of things. Like, even me, I'm like, I don't really massively fuss to even have kids. Like, I just think it's just amazing that, hearing your story in the dark times, like, that's there for a reason. You overcome them to become stronger. You have obstacles in life to become stronger, and you've come out the other side like flourishing, and that's why, like, to me, you're flipping superhero. Like, that's your superpower, because you're using your platform for the greater good. You're using your platform to help those little, like you said, little Tyreeces that are looking up and thinking, wow,
I can be that.
Yeah,
I can do that when I'm older, because obviously, especially with your said looking like little Tyreeces looking up, I didn't really have anyone. Like, everyone always asks me, "Who's your icon? Who do you look up to?" I'm like, I didn't have someone to look up to. Like, there was no one like me in media, and even if it was someone who was like in like a TV program or media, it's usually there's some gay man being chucked out, or like, I don't know, a queer person being killed, and I'm like, that's not really. And then that's going into my head. I'm like, wait, is this all I'm going to be when I'm older? Because obviously that's all that the media's projecting. That's why, even when we was in Lane, I was like, I want to be that role model for everyone, because I'm like, there's hardly anyone like me that's doing what I do and like looks like me. Obviously, it's getting better now, because obviously, with queer representation and trans representation, with actresses, actors, and all that. But I still want to do that, because like, that's what I wanted when I was growing up. So I was like, it's almost like becoming a full circle moment. Yeah. Of like looking back, I was like, oh wow. If I was like looking at Tyrese, I'm like, hang in there. Like, I would literally hang in there. Yeah. You've got a great life ahead of you. Because I'm like, every Disney princess has like some dark childhood. So. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you are a princess. Like, you're just amazing. And I just. Yeah, like, every day I talk about you pretty much every day to anyone that I speak to, and I just think, you coming on, I just really wanted to shine light on,
you know, the subject, like non-binary and, you know, doing drag and finding yourself and accepting who you are and self-love. I think all those things are really important for anybody. And also, I just need to say, I need to bring up this, your recent job with Virgin.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I had to talk about this because I think this was so amazing, because the fact that Virgin Atlantic had done something like, you know, the non-binary name, you know, the name stamps, and I think that's like perfect, moving that right direction. Like how did that feel for you to be booked on a job like that?
Okay, first of all, it felt amazing because I remember when I was like 4 years old watching, you know, those like iconic like Virgin Atlantic like walk scenes with all the ladies in the red outfits. I'm like, I want to be one of those. So it's like a full circle moment. But being on that shoot, being surrounded by so many like-minded people, and like I could tell. Like I even went up to I think the producer. I was like, you do realize this is like big, because it's not during Pride Month, so it actually shows that you've listened to the people who work for your company, because it actually ignited, because the work, like 3 workers were like, this needs to change. And it's the fact that Virgin Atlantic listened to them and like changed the policy, like even the introduction of pronoun name tags for customers and for the staff. I think I said this on the shoot. I said it's not the fact of taking anything from anyone. It's bringing a chair for everyone to sit at the table. And it's like making sure everyone's included. Obviously, you don't need to, you know, wear them because we're not forcing you. But it's the fact that, oh, there's another option where someone could feel safe, secure, seen.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, like I'd love if I was little and I saw, oh, I can show how I identify, because obviously, I said before, there's no specific way of being non-binary, but the way I look is very male presenting. Like I'm not, and I don't try to be, because I'm like, there's not one way or another, especially when I'm like another persona, which we could talk about later. But like, it's the fact that I'll have written on me who I am. Yeah. And it's not like outing anyone, but like Virgin Atlantic, I feel like Virgin Atlantic sees me. And like even on the shoot, like behind the scenes, like everyone from the makeup artist to the director to the crew, everyone was so inclusive. Yeah. So that felt like amazing. I felt like it was a step in the right direction in the terms of like the work environment, because I feel like when it comes to work clothing that they give you, it's very like, here's the male uniform, here's the female uniform. Yeah. And obviously there was like, you saw some of the comments which I replied to. Obviously they're not all good, but like that doesn't mean that it's not an amazing thing. Yeah. Obviously you're gonna have people that are, you know, that want to hate on this, that will not change, that will be like, at first will be like, ugh, what is that? But actually, is it really affecting you, or is it just, you know, bringing light to people who want to be themselves?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's so like inspirational, because, you know, I think because I've been friends with you for so long, you've taught me so much, and really, really, like, I look up to you massively. Don't actually, we'll get emotional.
Don't know where to look.
We are not going to cry. We are not going to cry on here. And I think, you know, I just think this kind of subject is just so, what I'm trying to say. I think, you know, things on TikTok, the way you are on TikTok, the way you just really are your authentic self on Instagram, and the way you really portray yourself and show to people like you can be yourself no matter what gender. And I think that's what's so amazing, because, you know, I've met people and they sometimes be like, well, if they're born male, like they should be male. I'm like, no, but it's not about that. It's about what you feel inside. It's about what makes you happy. And just because you're born a certain way and put a label on it doesn't mean you have to be that way. And that's why I adore you so much, because you're breaking those boundaries and being like, actually, no, I'm proud to be non-binary. I'm proud to be me. And then that's what's so great about you, and it's just amazing. And, you know, people listening to this, I really hope that you really do listen and really educate yourselves on this, because it's such an important subject that, you know, still a long way to go, but baby steps, you know. I'm going to ask you a question, you know, what's the best advice you can give to someone, you know, with a superpower? When I say superpowers, I don't necessarily mean physical superpowers. I mean anybody that's gone through something so hard, or they're shy and they're scared to embrace their superpower or who they are. What's like the best advice or what advice would you give to them, in life?
This sounds so weird, but it works in my head. Like anyone with superpower, it's just like hanging there, like hang in there. Because I'm like, if I was looking at little Tyrese and like he's struggling or like she's struggling or they're struggling, I'd be like just hanging there, because like everyone says like time's a healer, and like you learn over time. Like you go through so much stuff, so many experiences. Like the Tyrese I was like a year ago, 5 years ago is not the person I am today.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it won't fix overnight. It may fix in a week, might not fix in a month, but you will get to a place where you love yourself.
Yeah.
So like just hang in there.
I love that. Honestly, I'm so mesmerized. I think that is so beautiful because, like me especially, it's so true. I look back and I would say the exact same. I say, Tash, just wait, like your time's coming. And I think those people that, if you're struggling in life right now, it's true, like hang in there and work hard, get over those obstacles. And honestly, life in a few years, or it could be next week or in a day, you will get better day by day. And, I think this is another kind of like question as well. I think, what is your kind of like escape? Like if you're struggling, if you're stressed, or if you just need to kind of just have time to yourself. I think for me, it's music. Like music's my therapy. Like honestly, when I feel a bit stressed or upset, whack on my headphones, I blast out like Britney Spears or Lady Gaga or some like 2000 year. I'm like blasting it. I'm like dancing in our living room and the bedroom. So like, what is it for you that's like your escape?
Oh, probably fashion, and probably like, I mean, just trying on clothes, and like, because my thing is clothes really are like a representation of how I'm feeling.
Yeah, like an armor in a way.
And like whenever I'm feeling like a certain type of way, I literally just go up to my drag robe, like chuck all my dresses down into the living room. I'm like, I'm just gonna wear all these, and like I'm just gonna like pop onto music, and I'm just gonna runway. And like I feel like when I do this, it's such like a release of all the, either from anger or stress, because I'm like, okay, it almost like reminds me of who I am. I'm like, no, this is me. Because obviously, usually when I'm stressed or having like a crappy day, I'm usually nothing wrong with joggers and like a jumper. I'm usually in like my slobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, actually, no, I need to get out of this headspace.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't me. This like dark cloud over my sun isn't me. I need to like snap out of it. So I'm always like, that's why I love having like my drag as well, because that really does like, if Tyrese isn't feeling so good, and like I would just like get into drag, because like not that it's like masking my like my sad Tyrese state, but it really like bumps Tyrese up. And obviously there's always that misconception, or it does happen where people look after their drag persona, not themselves. Yeah. But like my drag really does like support Tyrese, and Tyrese does support Desire, because obviously I don't see them as a caricature of each other. I just see them, they're both me.
Yeah, they're
like,
both who you like. Both like the two parts of you.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like if you split me down the middle, half would be slightly Desire, half would be activist Tyrese.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And I gotta say, everyone, Ty, like honestly, brings out the most amazing looks.
Oh, I do.
Like you actually do. Like even I'm like
gagging.
I need that dress.
Oh, it was like the black dress. Remember what from Madame Tussauds? I was on the steps and it was massive.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
gorgeous.
That was gorgeous.
That's something you'd wear. That's something you'd wear to like MTVs.
Okay, I'm borrowing it then. So I remember when we used to live together, I actually tried on a pair of Tyreeceinheels.
Oh my gosh, that's iconic, in the backyard. Those pleasers.
They were honestly so high, I couldn't even walk in them. And I was like, Ty like dances in them, jumps in the air, does splits on the floor. And I'm not sure if any of you saw the viral video of its Desire in Ibiza. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that one? Because I feel like it's funny.
I mean, of course everyone finds it funny. Obviously, I was, performing in Ibiza, living my life. It was to Demi Lovato, Cool for the Summer. And I did like a fake out, because I was never even going to go in the pool. I was just going to be like, ha, I'm not going to go in the pool. I kid you not. Someone had different plans for me, because my heel slipped And what did I do? I like teddy barrel roll. Everyone's like, it was so majestic. Surely that was planned. I was like, no, I fell hard and fast into her. Actually, no, I didn't feel fast. It was like slow motion. The way I fell was like, gum, 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 gum. And it was literally on the lyrics, take me down. That's what everyone thought it was like. I was like, no, my head. And then obviously, and then literally when I was underneath the water, it felt like I was there for 5 hours. I was like, crap. What do I do? I was like, no, I have to carry on. The music's still playing. And then I got out. I was like, whoosh. Sunglasses still on, hair still on, obviously looking like a drowned rat. But I was like, let me just start performing in the pool and walk over to the stair.
I remember when I saw that video, I literally had tears in my eyes.
I can't believe it went everywhere so fast. I know, but it's still circulating. I'm like, okay, still circulating. I still can't believe that. No, but it's the most funniest thing that it would happen to me. Of course it would happen to me.
Yeah, I mean, just the way you just, like, you were in the pool, but you came out like, actually, you know what? You still killed it. You still slayed it. You're like, you know what, whatever, it's fine, it happened. You still came out like...
I was like, you know what, I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen, but DJ, this music's still playing, let's go. Cool for the summer, take me down.
Oh, my days. So, yeah, if anyone's... Where's it on TikTok and your Instagram, isn't it?
It's everywhere, yeah. On my Instagram, it's on TikTok. Just type in Queen falling in a pool.
Is that what people search?
No, that's what people search. Ibiza pool falling video or something.
Okay, there you go, everyone. You need to go see it because trust me, it is jokes. So, tell me, what is your future goals? Like, what is your dream next? You've achieved so much already. I'm literally like, you're 22. You've achieved so much, and I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Stop it. I'm proud of you too.
So,
That's being nice.
I know, but I get emotional. So yeah, what's next for you, Ty? Tell me.
I feel like I'm always like world domination because but world domination. But like I feel like I just want to continue spreading not even my message, because it's like not even my message to spread. I just want to show more and more people, like, not even my story, but like how do I say it?
Kind of just like raising awareness of still, yeah.
Because I'm not going to stop fighting until it's the norm where like people don't have to, feel like they have to hide themselves. Because obviously there are those people who always tell me or message me or reply to me, even though they follow me, like, you talk about this a lot. I'm like, I talk about it a lot. And every day and every other post, it's like a deeper meaning, because it is for me, like my experience. I'm like, I still can't feel fully accepted by, the government. Like, obviously can't say stuff, but there's like some major stuff happening in the back with like lobbying like the government and stuff and like the policies, like, because there's, okay, us like influencers, activists, like we're talking about it to our followers and supporters, but like the real people's minds we have to change are people who are not supporting us, who are against us, and like there's all these government policies who are like against like my whole existence. So like my thing is, I just want to create a world this is very deep, a world where every little Tyreeceinheels can just be their true self. Because I'm like, I just want everyone, I'm getting really passionate now because I'm using my hands, I just want everyone to feel as beautiful as I do, as someone who feels fully accepted, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I don't want anyone to feel like they're not worthy of, like, it's not really, but not worthy of living. Like, I want everyone to feel like they can go through life and just, live their truth. And like, whoa, that was so deep.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
I
was getting so, but I'm getting really sweaty now because I'm like,
you're passionate about it.
It's so passionate because it really infuriates me, because I'm like, people always, that's obviously you just had the question, but like when people like off the street or the internet ask me, why? I'm like, I could give you a whole list. I could give you a book. I could give you several. I could give you many handles. Yeah. Why we still need to do this.
And yeah, I mean, I'm just like.
No, you feel staring at me like this.
No, because I'm
just... so fun.
No, because I think, like exactly what you said there, it's more about the fact that you want to use your platform to actually change and really try and change people's opinions. And, you know, it's hard. So I think people are still so traditional in their ways of how gender should be, and all these kind of things are not really opening up their minds and being open-minded. And I think, you know, it should be taught in schools, you know, really, especially non-binary. That definitely should, you know.
Yeah, and even like
kind of
non-binary and like trans and like queer and like
everything,
like LGBTQ plus AI, and like, why is it just like the heteronormative lifestyle? That's my thing. Obviously, slay for those heteronormative people, but like, we need to factor in that the world isn't just made up of one specific type of person.
Yeah.
We've got a whole diverse, like, we need to be inclusive, like, through and through, from like birth till thingy.
Yeah.
And like, this is, I'm actually going off a tangent a bit, but you know, there was like that massive viral moment where people were like fuming at like little kids being talked about like gay, trans.
Yes.
But I was like, but they'd still be happy to be like, to a baby, oh, he's gonna be a lady killer. I'm like, but you're still sexual, but you're like, you're still like being like sexualizing the child, but like they can't learn about what LGBT plus is or like queer is. But like, I'd rather, with these people, I'd rather them just say it with their chest and say they're homophobic or transphobic, rather than disguising it and being like, they're
actually
too young.
Get defense. Yeah, it's so true. And I think to be taught at a young age is so important, because then they can be open-minded, they can enter this world of actually everyone can be included, and everyone is included, you know, all the communities, you know, deaf community, LGBTQ, you know, trans, everyone, you know, drags. I think that's what is so important, because I feel like people are still really just like, I don't know what it is. I just think people
They're really stuck in the ways.
Ignorance. Yeah.
And it's the naivety, because I'm like, I don't mind educating, but there's a limit where I'm like, all the sources are here, but you choose to ignore them. You've got all like the educational things that I give you, but then you still like don't get it because you choose not to. Because I'm like, there is a point where me wanting to educate stops, because obviously I'm not going to educate someone who doesn't want to be educated. That's on them. I'm not going to like waste my energy.
Exactly.
Like I even said to someone the other day who just messaged like, I don't get why don't you just fully transition if you want to be a woman. And then I just thought randomly, let me just, you know, school this woman. I was like, no, and this I was like, oh, okay, I've never heard of that. I was like, okay, slay.
Right.
I was like, right. But cause I'm like, it's almost like people are shutting their minds off, which I find is baffling, especially where we are now in society. I'm like, we've got so much representation, actors, media, music, like influencers, like reality TV stars. I'm like, the world is made up of a concoction, a cocktail of people. Yeah. It's not, I don't know, soda water.
Yeah, it's very true. You know, the world is so many different individuals, and it's crazy because if you think about it, we're all human, we all have bones, and what's the difference, really? Like, we're all the same, but we all obviously are going to be individualities, but that doesn't mean like, you know, you can shame on someone because of the way they are. And I think it's just crazy how people can really, you know, not just be open-minded and just open their minds, because they're kind of stuck in the old way of how the world is, but the world's massively changing. Like, look at TV representation now. Look at, you know, Drag Race and all these amazing shows, these amazing platforms. And I think it's great because it's like, this is how it should be. Yeah. Like, we should be, you know, showing ourselves and showing who we really are. And exactly that's why we're all superheroes.
Period. And I'm always like, we've said like a lot, like, you know, be authentically self, and I'm always like, as long as you lead with love and not hate, be the who the hell you want to be. Like, because obviously I just realized, because I always say, you know, be who you want to be. That doesn't give you the right to be hateful, because obviously, like, I'm not excluding the fact, like, I mean, I could be a hateful person, like someone who's non-binary could be hateful, someone who's you know, hard of hearing could be hateful, but it's saying as like a whole, like, you can be whoever you want to be in this world. Just choose like the right, like be the right person, like. And I always try and be to people I always try and act the way to people how I want them to be acted towards me. So like, I feel like this is like another reason why I'm like such like a ball of joy, because I'm like, I want people to bounce off my light.
Yeah.
That sounds really like conceited again, but like, obviously you even say like, I'm like such like a sun, like I'm such like a disco ball, and like when I'm down, I'm down.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same. Like one day I could be so positive, and another day I could be very like,
yeah.
But it's like, we're human though. We are going to have those days of like...
And it's almost like, and don't you find that more time than not, people like, they're not even like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? They're like, why? Like, it's almost like it's hurting them that we're down.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you sad? I was like, usually you're happy. I'm like, I'm not happy 24/7. Maybe 23/7.
Yeah.
But like that 1 hour, I need some time to recharge.
I love it. You know, I love what you just said, like lead with love, not hate. I think that's I love that quote because it's so true, you know.
Oh my gosh, who said it? It was me.
Yes, Tyreeceinheels said it. And it's so true, you know. A bit of kindness goes such a long way. And, you know, people, you know, that have listened to this episode, I really hope that, you know, this has taught you something new. And I hope that, you know, if you are going through something similar, you know, like Ty experience when you're younger, I really hope that you can take inspiration from, you know, the amazing Ty. And it goes to show that you can really achieve the most amazing things in life. And if you really be who you are, self-love. And yeah, I think this has been amazing.
Woo! It has been amazing. Like I just wanna like inspire people. Like you can really turn it around. Like just because like you're having like a bad day or like you're stuck in a bad situation doesn't mean you have a bad life. Like
exactly.
I feel like you can always, I don't know, like I said, just hang in there and turn it around. Because just because you're in a shitty situation doesn't mean you're gonna have like a shitty life.
No, exactly. I think, you know, that's so true because I feel like when you're in a bad situation, you can really overthink and think, oh my God, my life's going down the drain or all these many things. But, you know, it always comes back around. You know, life's like this.
It's a roller coaster, baby.
It's never going to be plain sailing. And every person has a different roller coaster in life. It's about how you overcome them.
And I always look at these bad situations like, I know that we always say this, but like, what doesn't kill you make you stronger? And like stuff like that, like it's just going to make you like, okay, that was a lesson learned, next chapter. Like almost like, that's what I always think, like I don't want to harbour on these negative things. Like they're a memory, they're in the back of my mind because, you know, it's an experience and I've learned from it. But like, okay, I've read that. It's almost like reading a book. I've read that chapter. I remember it, but I'm gone to the next stage of my life.
Yeah.
What's next?
That's exactly how I see it as well. That's genuinely, you know, like, for example, like Love Island, okay, that chapter's done. I'm on to the next thing now. And it's so true. I think if you look at it that way, you can look back and think, I had such an amazing life. But you were also continuing, pursuing a whole new future.
Yeah.
So,
like, it's almost like, I'm going to have goosebumps because it's like, with your past, you know what's happened to you. Well, your future, you don't know what's going to happen. Like you don't know what amazing things are going to come your way, opportunities, and I feel like the people who are listening at home, I'm getting goosebumps because I'm like, okay, I know some bad stuff's happened, okay stuff, but like, wait, what can I do in the present that could affect my future? Because like the past isn't going to have that much weight on your future. I cut those anchors. I was like, boom, 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 boom. Okay, they're there. They've got my name tag on it, but they're not going to hold me back anymore.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Preach it. Say it loudly to people in the back.
I should be a preacher, huh? Take me to church.
Love it. So, you know, this has been the most amazing episode. I've loved having you on. I'm so happy that you came. And I really hope people take a lot of inspiration from this. And, you know, I've told you what I think your superpower is, but I want you to tell me, what do you think your superpower is?
My superpower would be being proudly and unapologetically non-binary and queer, and like really inspiring like the queer youth that they can have a life that is a positive queer experience. And yeah, I just want to be really myself 100% of the time, and I feel like I am myself probably 200% of the time.
No, I think that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And, you know, thank you so much for coming. I've really loved having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.